Hello, everyone. Let's just wait a minute or so that like others can join as well. All right. I guess we can start since this is being recorded and it will be put on our YouTube channel after the talk. Even if others are missing, they can always go back and listen. Now, let me start by giving you an overview of what we are doing, what will happen, like a general overview of things. And then if you have any questions you would like to ask, we could discuss. So the first thing to mention is that our NFT sales are starting tonight at 9 p.m. UTC. We have placed all the NFTs in our website. If you go to NFT tab and click on utility NFTs, you will be seeing different tiers with different amounts. One thing to mention is that when you click there, you will see like 4 different categories from each tier. Like you will see bronze, 1x, 5x, 20x, and 50x. Now, if you want to buy bronze, there is no difference between these 5x, 20x. It only allows you to buy a bigger amount in just one transaction. If you are holding a lot of tokens, you don't have to make hundreds of transactions. So there is no advantage of buying the bigger ones, but between the tiers, there are differences. So if you want to buy a different tier, you need to check the dollar cost, and you can check that from the Excel sheet I shared with you. Now, after the NFT sale starts, it will continue for a week. I will put another countdown for that in our web page, and you can see when it's going to end. And after that ends, probably we will have already burned all the tokens in circulation. There are more NFTs than the current circulating supply can buy. So no matter what, there will be leftover NFTs. We will not be able to sell all of them. And this means that the total amount, which is 65,000 NFTs, will not sell. So we will not be distributing 13 million GPOOL tokens. I don't know how much it's going to be. Probably it will be something around 10 million GPOOL tokens. It is hard to tell at this point because there could be some trading while the NFTs are open, and trading burns more tokens. So if people start trading during the NFT sales, it means that less NFTs can be bought. So there is no certain way to tell how many NFTs we are going to sell and how many GPools we will be distributing in Gamma. This is only possible to tell at the end of NFT sales. Now, let me give you also like the reasons why we are doing it and what to expect in the next layer as well. Now, the reason we are starting a layer is usually because of new features. If we have a new feature which cannot be easily integrated into our platform, we start a new layer so that we can have an upgraded platform. This time it is a mix of different reasons. We have a new game which is not so easily integrated to our old games. This is one of the reasons. The second reason is that we need some improvements with our current games because people want different prices to play Bounty Hunter. Also, PvP is not very fair because there are some people who are fighting their own pets to get more score, and have an unfair advantage in terms of collecting the leaderboard rewards. So there are some issues like this that we need to fix with our games so that they will be fair for everyone and they will be more enjoyable. The second reason, as I mentioned, is integrating our new game and new contracts. But the third reason, and perhaps like the most important reason, is that we discovered some potential issues which might lead to some exploits in the future. So before anyone can discover them, we have to fix them. So we have reasons like this to move into Gamma, and Gamma will be fixing all the issues, improving our current games, and integrating new games into our model to bring us new deflationary mechanisms and more utility. This whole process is likely to take around 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, we will deploy all our contracts, we will have a fair launch, and then there will be a marketing process. We will use all our resources for marketing. Also, we will have audits, new audits. And then when the marketing and audits are over, we will start farming. And this is similar to what we did when we started PolyPulsar. There are a couple of advantages of starting farming a little bit later. One of the first advantage is that during the fair launch and farming, we can burn a lot of tokens. When we started PolyPulsar, we started with 2 million tokens, and we were able to burn half of it before the farming started. So I expect we will have something similar, or even maybe better, when we launch Gamma, because the games will be playable. We will have a new game, and we will also have extra rewards for the leaderboard to start it. So I expect there will be a lot of burns, which is good for the ecosystem. The second reason, I want to have enough marketing before farming actually starts. And the third reason, I want to have beefy vaults before we start farming, because beefy is able to withdraw a lot of TVL to new projects. So all of these things combined with the new games, more marketing, improved games, and everything else I mentioned, I expect that Gamma will be performing better than our current layer. So we will be able to create extra utility and extra value for the tokens that we are going to be rewarding you. Okay, so this was an overall explanation of everything going on at the moment. I just wanted to tell all in advance. Maybe some of you all are already familiar with it, but I just wanted to tell because some people might just want to listen what's going in this voice chat, and they don't have to look for answers for the whole record. Okay, now that I mentioned what's going on and a general overview, if you have any questions, if you have anything you would like to discuss, we can talk about them. You can also write your questions in the chat. Somebody is asking, will I run the risk of NFT being sold outright at launch? All the NFTs will not sell out. It is impossible because there isn't enough tokens for buying them. But some tiers might sell. I arranged all the tiers that there will be some extra left. So if the current distribution of circulating supply does not change, there will be extra in all tiers of NFTs. Somebody shared a picture showing that like 2 NFTs are sold. That contract you are seeing over there is the test contract. We haven't deployed the real contract yet. So we bought them just for the purpose of testing. I'm not sure if that person asking the question is in the voice chat. So we will be deploying the real contract just a little bit later, and you will see that all the numbers are at the maximum again. Do we have any other questions? Okay, there is one from Banzai. Is the new game play to earn? Well, the new game is similar to the old game, Bounty Hunter game. So this time, you will not only be playing the new game with our native tokens, but you will be able to play it with different tokens and earn different tokens. So it is not something that you play without paying anything, but it can potentially earn you new tokens. There is no tax on buying NFTs, Suresh. Or when you're claiming GPool, it will be completely tax-free. So the price that you see for NFTs, like 12 tokens, 24 tokens, if you hold that many tokens, you will be able to buy them. You will not pay any taxes. And when we are giving your GPools, they will not be subjected to taxes. You will receive the same amount of GPools that you see in the spreadsheet. Any other questions?
When Moon? When Lambo?
Well, hopefully soon. So is Tickboy here? He's asking some question in the chat, but no, you don't run the risk of running out of NFTs because we have put extra NFTs. The only thing I cannot promise is that if everyone tries to buy the same tier, one of the tiers might sell out. But I have given extra NFTs for each tier, and with the current distribution of tokens, there will be extra from each tier. But at the time of sale, if everyone tries to buy the same one, if they change the distribution by creating the same LP, then maybe some of them can sell out. But I don't think it will happen. Like we have given so much extra NFTs. I guess like many NFTs will be left. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions in the chat. There is one question, I think, for the ones that are migrating to the new layer through the NFT. When are we receiving GPool tokens? You will be receiving GPool tokens immediately after we enable fair launch. So it will be approximately 3 weeks. We will put liquidity, and after we enable the liquidity, you will be able to click a button which says claim tokens, and you will get your GPools. So it is shortly after the fair launch. About the advantage of buying here, now this is a question which a lot of people ask. Like they are checking the price of GPool, and they say, I'm paying more here than what I will receive in the next layer. So why should I buy it? The reason you should buy it is that we are going to be starting with a low liquidity. So that price, which is half of a cent for GPool, will not be staying there for long. It has always happened so with our fair launches. Since the liquidity is low, just after a handful of people are starting to buy GPool, the price pumps very quickly. So if you try to buy at fair launch and not here, you have the risk of not being able to buy G-Pools. If you're extremely fast, maybe you can buy, but I'm not sure.
I have a question. This one might help with.
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't
Is
hear
it
you.
worth, is it worth trying to get your, so how do I ask this? Maximize the price. So let's just say I have 110 BNT Matic Peer. So I would then add 10 more just so I can have 260s. Is that even worth the iteration in time? Does that question make any sense?
Yeah, I understand your question. I guess that depends on the price of the current tier. Um, like there is this spreadsheet I prepared. I will again share the Google Forms, Google Documents, so that you can copy and paste it. The price is constantly changing, so you need to enter the current price, and you need to see how much you need to, how many times it needs to increase with the launch, fair launch, for you to recover what you invested. If it is a reasonable amount, then you can invest more. And you should also understand what you are betting into here. Now, don't forget that the price you pay at the moment is not going to be higher than the fair launch price. And I explained why. The liquidity is low. Also, we cannot start it from higher because that money doesn't exist. We cannot give you something out of thin air. So you are starting from a loss, and then you are able to, like, you have the chance to make profit after the fair launch. You need to see how much you will invest and how many times the price should go up. And the reason that the price can go up is about the success of gamma layer. So you're actually, by buying these NFTs and by creating new LP pairs to buy the NFTs, you are actually betting on the success of our project in gamma layer. We are trying to make each layer better than the previous one so that we can create extra value for our tokens. And this is the type of risk that you are getting into by buying our NFTs. Now, if you check the history of our farms, our previous layers, it has always worked. And I don't see any reason that this will change with the gamma layer, because we have a roadmap that we are following it. We will have a new game, we will improve the old games, we will have new utilities and burning mechanisms. So on paper, this shows that as long as we can deliver what we promised, this shows that gamma will have a larger TVL and better performance than beta. But do you agree with us? So this is the question. Like, do you believe that we can really do it? Do you believe that we can deliver our promises? If you think that we can, then it could be a good idea to buy some more LPs, which is missing, and get the extra NFT. If you think that like we might not be able to achieve that, if you don't believe in the project, probably it is better to buy the NFTs, which is already you can buy, like with the amounts that you have, and whatever extra you have left, you can sell them. So I cannot tell you what to do over there. That is a question that you need to answer. Is that clear, Carl?
Yeah, that was good for me. It made a lot of sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? The ATA for farm launching is approximately 3 weeks. I cannot tell you exactly when. Could be a little bit earlier, could be a little bit later. Sorry, not farming actually. It is 3 weeks for the fair launch. So when we fair launch, you will be able to play the games, but the farming will not start immediately. When we start the platform, the games will be playable. You will see the new game as well, and then we will do heavy marketing so that people can learn about the project, understand how the games work, and they can start getting ready and buying the token before farming starts. Also, like this gap between the fair launch and farming will enable us to burn a lot of tokens. So we will be decreasing the circulating supply before farming starts. So I think the estimated time for fair launch is approximately 3 weeks, and the estimated time for farming is approximately 4 weeks. Okay, do I have any other questions?
Hey, Knox. Hi, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Hi.
Yeah. It's more related to the actual new game we're talking about. It's going to come with a new layer. I don't know if you know the project Crypto Blades, which has been quite a success right now. So, do you think that this new game is going to be able to attract um, bigger amount of players in a way because the game is fun, or because I'm not really sure that if I understand what the new game is going to be about compared to the current layer. So if you could talk about how a bit more about the new game and how it compares to other games like Crypto Blades, that would be nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, the new game does not have an item system like Crypto Blades. I think I examined Crypto Blades very shortly. I saw that like you have some weapons that you can buy, and according to the weapons you buy, you are able to do better missions or defeat stronger opponents. Now, our game does not have an item system yet. It is an idea we are still working on, and it will be another game. The current game mainly aims to bring value to our ecosystem from external sources. Now, so far, our games have been working in a closed ecosystem. So you can use Beeple to earn BNT, and then you can use BNT to play PvP and get rewards from the leaderboard. But everything happened between our own native tokens. The difference with the new game is that it will not be very different from Bounty Hunter, but it will be able to make use of external resources. So this new game can be played with any token and can reward you any token. It means that, for example, you can play the new game with Matic or USDC, and in exchange, if you complete the mission successfully, you will be earning other tokens. This is a way we will offer other projects on Polygon to sell their developer allocations and gain new users. Now, all the yield farming projects have something called a developer allocation. As farming starts, they start to mint their own tokens with a certain percentage. But the problem for these projects is that they cannot sell their own token, because if they sell it, they will be hurting their own price. And this is bad for the projects. And also people don't like it when they sell their own tokens for obvious reasons. Now, with this game, they can earn money from their developer allocation without having to sell their tokens. So that's the utility that we are bringing here with the new game. Because if they ask us, we can enable the game to be played with USDC or Matic, and in exchange, whatever native token they have, it can be rewarded from the game. So they will be making funds from external resources, and these external resources are new users. So it is one of the two things that a lot of projects want: new users and more funds. Now, of course, for offering a feature like this, offering a service like this to other projects, we will be telling them, okay, we can sell your tokens. You will get new people. Some of them will sell your tokens after earning it from the game, but some of them will be coming to your website and checking what the token is about, and maybe like they will start using your platform as well. So it is a good thing for them. But in exchange for offering you a service like this, you will have to give us some extra native tokens, and these extra native tokens will be given to players who are using bounty token, BNT, to play the game. And that BNTs will be burned. So the new game is not exactly something like Crypto Blades. It is more like Bounty Hunter, but it brings us value outside of our ecosystem. So by using other projects, by bringing them value, we will be burning more and more tokens. Our burn rates are already like crazy. Like we are burning over 50%, 60% of the circulating supply. Total supply. And with this addition, we can burn even more tokens. And I have similar plans for the PvP as well. It is not just PvE. I will be using PvP to offer other projects marketing opportunities. I will be offering them to design their pets with the ideas and the teams they have, and those pets will be a source of marketing in PvP for them. And in exchange for this, we will be asking them to sponsorship the rewards in leaderboards. So our treasury will last longer. So to summarize, the new games and the improvements are not exactly like Crypto Blades or something extremely different, but they will be able to bring us value from external sources, and they will help us burn more tokens and get rid of inflation. Is that clear? I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
And we will be doing some things like Crypto Blades, I mean with items. And it is not exactly the same type of game because we hate stealing from others. So our next game on the line will be a dungeon style game. This time it will matter what kind of choices you make. I have talked about this many times, but there could be some new people listening to this. So let me mention that briefly as well. This is a game in our long-term plans with secondary marketplace. So when you click play a mission, you will be going into a dungeon, and there will be rooms in the dungeon. So the first room you will enter will be easy to complete. Like perhaps with a chance like 90%, you will be beating the room. And then the game will offer you a choice. It will ask, okay, you got some loot, maybe some tokens, maybe some items. What would you like to do? Do you want to return, take your loot and return? Or would you like to go deeper into the dungeon? So if you move on to the second room, and you will have to make some choices. If you want to continue, where will you go? Take the middle entrance, left or right? Like you need to choose something. So if you move into the second room, you will be facing harder opponents. You will risk dying and losing all the loot you got. But if you can complete the second room, you will be earning greater rewards. And you can keep going like this until you reach to the end of the dungeon. So you will be earning different tokens and items from this kind of dungeon. And then you will be using those items and tokens to do more complicated, sophisticated PvP with other players. So this is our next games on the line. It is in our midterm plans. We will also be integrating a secondary marketplace for this type of game. So whatever you earn in the dungeon, you also will be able to sell it. Like if you find a sword, if you find a shield or armor, you will be able to sell those items for real money. Okay, I see a question about BNT. Will it be used in PvP? The current BNT will not be used in PvP because we will have a new token for BNT. So the tokens that we have here, Bpool and BNT, will not be used in Gamma. So in Gamma, we will have Gpool and maybe a GBNT. I don't know what to name it yet, but it will be different tokens. So you cannot use them in Gamma.
That's good.
Yeah, so when the new game starts, there will be no BNT in circulation, and you will be the first ones to play the game and create the new BNTs. And it is usually more profitable in the beginning because nobody has it. Also, let me warn you about this. In this current layer, when I opened the liquidity for BNT, I just created a very small amount because I want players to play the game and earn BNT. So because it was a very small amount, people didn't understand and bought BNT when I provided the liquidity. It pumped the BNT price extremely high. But as soon as people started playing the game, they started selling BNTs and dropped the price. So one advice, when we open Gamma, don't buy BNT. Because as soon as people start playing Bounty Hunter, they will be selling it.
Smart. So just play the game and earn GBNT.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't need to buy it. Like as soon as people start playing, they will be earning BNT, and there are a couple of things they can do with BNT. They can sell it if it is profitable. They can do PvP, or they can play the new game. But if you pump the price at the beginning, of course everybody will sell it very quickly. Okay, let me see if there is any other questions. If you have some ideas to discuss, any questions, just let me know.
On this side, we're just counting down.
Okay, there is one question in the chat. Since there is enough NFT for all existing tokens, are you going to lock NFT purchases for 1-2 weeks before Gamma layer? We will lock the NFT sales in a week. I mean, NFT sales will last a week, and then we will stop it because we need to make calculations to be able to create our contracts. We need to see how many G+ tokens we will send to people. I think 1 week is more than enough time for everybody to buy. I mean, you can buy just in minutes. So I believe that 1 week is more than enough. Any other questions? Any other ideas?
I had a question regarding like the future development of games. Are you looking to like hire any professional game developers or story writers for future games?
Yes. Actually, we already hired a story writer, and our new game will have better stories. The current ones in the Bounty Hunter is written by me, and as you can understand, English is not my native tongue, and I'm certainly not an author or something like that. So what we did is to pay some native speaker, and that person was also a story writer, and she created new stories for us. About the games, as we start creating more and more complex games, we can hire some people, but the problem is we can only hire them for animations. We cannot hire them for the game mechanics or the backend, because the backend is extremely important, and we cannot give such duties to some people that we are not familiar with, because those people can hide something into the code, and later on they can drain resources, and we wouldn't be able to even prove who made it. So the backend part will always be designed by us and the people that we trust. But in terms of having animations, graphics, better graphics, we can have some other people. We can outsource these kind of things. As we grow this project, we will be able to create more revenue, and then that revenue can be spent on further development. The new game will be able to burn all the tokens, but I think we will be mainly burning BNT or GBNT or GNT. We haven't named it yet, because Gpool already has a game for itself. Like Bounty Hunter game is for Gpool. Okay, you will be burning a lot of Gpool in Bounty Hunter game, and from Bounty Hunter you will be earning BNT, bounty token. And then we need extra areas to burn bounty because we want to create a cycle. If you want bounty token, use your Gpool. If you want something else, use your BNT. As long as we burn BNT, there will be more burns for Gpool. Any other questions?
Yes, hi, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, 3 weeks from now, approximately, we start Gamma layer. Now, if it goes well, 1 week later, we start the farms. Now, if that goes well, what becomes your focus next?
The next focus is the things that we put on the roadmap. So next focus would be a secondary marketplace and the dungeon type of game that I explained a little bit earlier. So we need to have a secondary marketplace where you can sell NFTs, because we want your like pets and characters to have some real value. Like some of you have like legendary hunters, but it cannot be used for anything else other than playing the game. So I think it would be a cool idea if you had characters or items that you have leveled up and you can sell them and cash them out. So that will be the next thing. When we prepare a secondary market like this to sell NFTs, to buy NFTs, to make them tradable, then we will be implementing the dungeon style game and NFT items. So NFT items will bring a lot of new opportunities for new games, and we will be designing new PvP games. Because as long as you have some NFT items and characters, you can start having player strategy in PvP. At the moment, you can only buy the pet, you can go to arena, fight another pet, and it is completely RNG. You either win or lose, you have no control over the things. But if you have different items and if you have different characters, you can have player strategy. Okay, like let's say that you have a warrior and your opponent has a mage. Okay, so a mage can kill a warrior, but if you equip your warrior with some anti-magic shield, then you can still beat that person. So we will be having more complicated PvP, more complicated PvP, and a secondary marketplace for you to use all your game items and characters that you can sell them and earn money.
Hi, Knox. Regarding the, like you said, the game mechanics and just the animation and everything else about the future, can you maybe compare and contrast how you see your vision and the model that's being used with Axie Infinity and their animation design and flow and game mechanics? Just out of curiosity, just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure. With Axie Infinity, you are actually actively making decisions during the combat. Now, with our middle term plans, the games that I have just mentioned, the dungeon style PvE and the PvP versions, in these games, you are not directly influencing the combat. You can only make decisions before the combat, and then you will get outcomes. Because let's say that you have a team of 3. You can deploy 2 warriors and 1 assassin, maybe 1 warrior, 1 mage, and 1 assassin, and give them different items which will have different outcomes, and then go and face a random opponent. So your combination versus your opponent's combination will have some outcomes, and you will be able to see how the combat is taking place. You will see, like, if you are losing, you will see like how your opponent beats you, like what you need to change in your composition or items, and you can make new decisions. If you like, you can go buy new items, sell your old ones, and then try again. So in this regards, it is not exactly like Axie Infinity, because in Axie Infinity you are directly taking decisions during the combat. Here you will be taking decisions before the combat. This is for the middle term games. In the long term, our final aim is to create an MMORPG in a sandbox environment with NFT lands. So in a game like that, in the final layer, in the final game, you will be taking decisions in real time. So you will have a map, you will own some lands on the map, and on your lands, you will have your buildings, resources, armies, heroes. And if you like, you can order them to go and fight your neighbors. So that will be real-time decisions. But in the current games and in the coming games, the decision system is different. Is it clear?
Yes, that's right there. Thank you.
Okay, there is a question about what is the like idea behind having two token model. Now we are having two token model because we want to offer a token which cannot be farmed but can only be earned in the games. Now, if you can farm the token that you can use for PvP, then it is a matter of who stakes more money. And this is something we want to avoid. Okay, you can stake money, you can farm it, but then if you want to get involved in PvP, if you want to get rewards from leaderboard, if you want NFT items and etc., then you need to game token, and that is not something you can farm. That is something that you have to play and earn. And it also allows a good hybrid model. Now, we want to attract as many investors as possible. Not everyone is interested in games. Like some people simply enjoy yield farming. Some people enjoy yield farming by buying native tokens and taking greater rewards and risks. Some people simply enjoys going for the non-native stable tokens. They just want to take the least amount of risk and get some money, make some money from it. And we want to be able to offer a product which suits everyone, for those who want to take risks, for those who want to play the games, and for those who just want to yield farm with non-natives and sell their yields. As we make more and more complicated and sophisticated games, we will be reducing the yield farming features. At the moment, we have to present them because our games are not enjoyable enough to attract many investors. When we have better games, when we have games that people actually come into the platform to play the games, but not for the yield farming features, then we will be reducing yield farming features and we will be presenting more game features. And perhaps at a point like that, we will not have infinite supply. We will probably have a maximum supply. We will tell people you can yield farm it, and then it will end, and then those tokens will be the final amount of tokens in circulation, and you will be able to play the games with them. But in order to tell something like this, we need to have games which are actually enjoyable. Any other questions? Okay, somebody asks, so what is the play here? People and BNT only use is buy NFT now, correct? Yes, that's correct. Because the farming is over, we have to start the new layer, and the only use that you can do only two things. You can either sell them or buy NFTs. There isn't any other use for them any longer.
Hello, Nox.
Hello.
Yeah, may I have a ask? So you mean right now, a lot of our PNT and the people, and even though the LP is just waiting for the NFT and buy for it.
Yes, you are like there is nothing to use them for other than waiting for the NFTs. I mean, we stopped Bounty Hunter game to stop BNT minting. We stopped farming, so you cannot mint people as well. There is no more inflation. Only PvP is open at this moment, so if you like, you can go and play PvP with your BNT, but the rewards are limited. We only have people rewards. Perhaps after the sales tonight, the leaderboard rewards will be extreme a little bit because there will be a lot of people trade. So tomorrow you might expect to see some huge leaderboard rewards with people, but there is actually no utility left for them at this stage because we stopped the farming. We are preparing for Gamma. So I think the only things you can do if you want to be involved in Gamma, if you believe our team, then you can buy NFTs. And if you don't believe in us, then you can sell them.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, there is one question. Will any percent of the sales of NFTs go to buybacks or burns? No, I mean, all the tokens will be burned, so you cannot really buy back anything. Now, we have 5 different tokens that you can buy NFTs. We have Beeple, BNT, and then we have the LP tokens. BNT/Matic, Beeple/Matic, and Beeple/BNT. Now, when you buy an NFT, we will be burning all the native tokens, whether they come from single tokens or they come from NFTs. Or they come from LPs. We will only keep the Matic in the Matic LPs. So we will be removing Beeple/Matic LP, keeping Matic, and burning the Beeple. And we will do the same thing for BNT LP as well. So all the native tokens we get will be burned. In this case, there is no point making buybacks because we will be burning everything in any case. And the Matic gained from these sales, our team will get nothing from it. We get no profits from this NFT sale. I will be sharing you the account that receives these funds, and we will be using this money. I don't know how much it's going to be. It is very hard to tell at this point because it depends on how many diamonds and platinum tiers will sell. And whatever money we get from these Matic LPs, we will be using them for 3 things. The first thing is the liquidity of Gamma. The second thing is marketing. And the third thing is the audit cost of our contracts. And our team will not take a single cent from this sale. We actually
Excuse me,
have.
I have a,
Yeah, go ahead.
oh, sorry. Yeah, thanks. I have a question about the. Could you share like your team members from which function and all of your members about this project?
You mean the identification of my team members?
Yes. Like you have the guy from the marketing or the guy from the engineer, and then you lead the project. Maybe the 3 or 5 or 10 people working on this project, like that. Thank you.
I could tell you like who we have and like what they are doing, but I cannot tell their names, of course, because we are not
Oh,
doxed,
sure.
including myself. So
No problem.
let me count the people in our team. First of all, we have community moderators that you talk to in our chat. So these people are only there to help you understand how the project works and like whatever questions you have. So these people you talk in the chat, apart from me, they are not involved in coding the platform. Okay, they are just there to help you. They know how the product works, and they try to explain you things. There is me. I'm the founder of the project. I understand how the code works, but I'm not developing actively. I'm just supervising the developers, telling them what to do, making strategies, creating partnerships, and devising the economic models for the games. Then we have two front-end devs. What I mean by front-end is the user interface that you see in the web page, like all the buttons you click, all the pictures you see, they are placed by them, two front-end devs. And we have two back-end devs. What they do is to code the games. And we have a designer. And this designer is making our pets, drawing our pets, creating our characters, or modeling the NFTs that you are going to buy tonight. So our core team is 6 people. 1 designer, me, 2 front-end devs, and 2 back-end devs. At this moment, we are also training 2 new back-end devs to help us create more games in the future. They are being trained, and I think in a month or so, they will start actively helping us create games. Oh,
Sounds
also
great.
we
Thank
have
you.
1 marketing agent. He's called Norwegian. So if you find any like nice marketing deal for us, which you think that would be beneficial for the project, you can always contact him. And like he is constantly trying to get the best deals for us.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Hey Knox, that's here. While we're on the topic of the team and the infrastructure behind it, you guys take a very low commission for your team. Do you feel that it is adequate for supporting your team or inhibiting your growth, or how do you feel that is affecting your project? Just out of curiosity.
Well, it is not a very big amount, especially thinking that we have a lot of people in the team. But we are able to get by because we are living in a country that dollar is quite worthy. So we are not complaining at this stage. Our main concern at this point is to grow our community, because as we create bigger and more sophisticated games, we have the potential to make more revenue. So if you, I don't know how long have you been here, but if you watched our numbers from alpha to this layer, we have been constantly growing on Telegram, and our holders are growing. So that is the main thing we want, because when we actually have a game that is like you can actually compare with Axie Infinity, for example. When we have a product like this, we want to have a big community who is ready to invest in this. Because sometimes you have a cool project, but there is no one interested in it. So our main purpose at this point is just to finance our operations, to make a living and grow our community. Okay, let me check some of the questions in the chat. There is one question for Zizk. I don't know how to read this. He says, I mean, if a percent of the money raised in the pre-sale, it will go to buyback in the new farming in GPulsar. Okay, about the buybacks, we have changed our strategy when we migrated to Polygon. Like on Binance Smart Chain, we were doing buybacks, but here we are not doing buybacks. We are giving all the funds into leaderboard rewards because that creates more burn than you can traditionally buyback and burn. Now, about buybacks, we will not do them unless it is too profitable to do buyback and burn. For example, let me tell you like something like this. Let's say that from NFT sales, we have $100,000 of funds, all right? And then we launch Gamma Pulsar, and then we see a plummeting price. That Gamma Pulsar price is so low that our market cap is around, let's say, $20,000. It means that we can simply spend 1/5 of our funds to burn all the tokens in circulation. Not all, but a very large amount. In a case like this, we can do buybacks. I mean, if the amount that we hold is so big that with a single buyback, we can erase half of the inflation, then we will do it. But until that point comes, we will not be doing buybacks because it is not a very effective strategy. Okay, another question is from someone else. How much time will it take from liquidity farming? 1 week, quite important. Yes, it is approximately 1 week. We will allow fair launch. It is the same amount of time that we had here when we launched PolyPulsar. We had 1 week gap between fair launch and farming. In this time, people learned how to play the games. They minted their BNTs, got ready for PvP. So we will be doing the same thing. We will have a gap of 1 week. We will be burning a lot of tokens, and we will be doing marketing. So the reason that we do not start immediately is because we want people to learn about games, also about the new game, and we want to have enough time for marketing. Because when you have a product to show people that a working product with games, it is easier to market your product. When you tell people like we will be doing this and doing that and try to market that, people are not so much interested because they don't see it happening at the moment. You can buy GPool on QuickSwap when we start the fair launch, which will be approximately in 3 weeks. Okay, there's a question from Alex. Is BPool and BNT useless in layer 2? Yes, because we are giving you a chance to convert them at the moment, and there is more than enough NFTs for everyone. There is no risk like being left out and not being able to buy, so you will not be able to use them in the next layer. The exact date is not given yet because the exact date depends on the audit reports and how fast the development will go on. We expect that we will finish developing and fixing our current contracts in 10 days to 2 weeks, and the audits usually take 4 or 5 days. So it should be done in approximately 3 weeks. But if one of the audits tells us that we have critical vulnerabilities that we have to work and fix, then the product can get delayed. I don't think it will happen because our current games have already been audited twice before. So like we know how they work. So I don't think like there will be delays, but of course I cannot tell for certain. Beta Polygon was actually 1 week as well. We didn't have 2 week gap between the fair launch and farming. So it will be the same in the next layer. Well, crypto, that's also something to consider. So this is also one of the risks. Are we going to be in a bear market in 3 weeks? What will happen with the Bitcoin price? That is also a factor to consider, but that is completely out of our control. So yeah, like that is something you should consider as well. When Bitcoin is going down, everything is going down, and there isn't really much trading volume in the market. But if it happens that in 3 weeks it starts going up, then we will actually be performing much better. All right, any other ideas, any other questions? It will be available for a week. You can buy NFTs for a week. After the end of the week, so we will be closing the NFT sales next week on Friday at 9 p.m. UTC. Yeah. So you still have the time. The only thing that you should be careful about, it is impossible that all the tiers will sell out, but some of the tiers might sell out. So if there is a specific tier that you are looking for, watch the numbers every day. Make sure that like the tier that you want to buy does not sell out before you buy it. Could I explain the distribution of pre-sale money? Now, I didn't give percentages, if I remember correctly. I'm planning to spend around $10,000 to $20,000 for the liquidity of the next layer. And then the rest will be spent for marketing and audits. And after marketing and audits, if we have any money left, we can transfer this amount to the leaderboard rewards. I also want to mention that from this beta layer, the current layer, we still have approximately $60,000 of leaderboard rewards. So this money will also be used in the next project as well to reward people who are playing PvP or the other games. Any extra funds left from this sale will be directed to games. Our games are perfect mechanisms of burning. If you check other projects on Polygon, nobody has as much burns as we do. And this is thanks to our games. So any extra funds we have from NFT sales, from the project, whatever we have, we will be directing them into the games. Because, well, first of all, it is fun to play the games and get some rewards. And the games help us burn so many tokens. So it is also good for the ecosystem. I'm not sure what is confusing. Like you buy the NFT and then you wait for us to develop the next project. This is what we have done so far because we are a layered project. In each layer, we are putting extra features, more utility, more burning mechanisms, and improving our old features. And for us to be able to do that, we need some time because that kind of thing does not happen in a day or two. Of course, like I understand if you're feeling uneasy about waiting this long after buying something, you might not like the idea. But if you don't want to wait, if you feel unsure about the future of the project, then you should sell your tokens. But if you have suspicions, you can always talk to other people who have been following us since alpha or beta from Binance Smart Chain. And I think those people who followed us so far, they haven't regretted doing so.
Hi, Knox. One other question about inflation. Uh, I know that you guys have a aggressive burning mechanism, but even in the current layer, there's still been creeping inflation. And I just out of curiosity, would you say is a rough ballpark of, I guess, engagement in games for that to become a deflationary overall net effect? Like 2 times of what you saw currently, or maybe whatever. Just out of curiosity. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you were in the project at the first days of farming. So we started farming with around 1 million circulating supply, and for 2 days the circulating supply did not increase at all. It was like the perfect balance. But then it started increasing because people were not very satisfied with the PvP mechanics. Now, some people figured that it was actually more profitable to fight their secondary accounts other than fighting other people. Now, this created an issue that some people were getting an unfair advantage to collect leaderboard rewards. And then when the players who were doing it fairly discovered that they cannot compete with these people, they started playing the game less. And this started to increase our inflation. Now, this was one of the problems, and this is one of the things that we will fix in the next layer. So one strategy to do it better is to fix our PvP, which is not very optimized at the moment. The second thing is our new game, because our new game will be one extra burning mechanism for BNT. And as long as we can burn more BNT and create the demand for it, people will have to play bounty hunter and burn their G pool. So less BNT means more G pool burns, and we control the overall inflation. So the plan here is to make our PvP more fair, thus people will play it more and burn more tokens. And the secondary plan is to bring a new burning mechanism into our games.
I see. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And of course, we will not stop there. I mean, the moment we finish building these things that I'm talking about at the moment, we will immediately start developing the middle term plans that I have been mentioning earlier, like secondary marketplace, a PvE dungeon game, and more sophisticated PvP games. So the development here is continuous to offer more and more value to our tokens and bring new deflationary mechanisms. Any other questions?
I have a simple question. It has been already answered before. If it is the case, really sorry. It was about the process of buying the NFTs. It will be an approval of a standard Matic transaction, and then another approval of the purchasing transaction. But is there any slippage or something different that should be settled during or in preparation of these transactions, or these are standard Matic transactions with standard slippage and so on and so forth? Thank you.
It is completely standard. There is nothing different to it. So first, you will be approving the contracts to buy the NFTs, and then when you click, you will be able to buy it with the second transaction, and it is just a normal transaction. There is no slippage to it. There is no tax in it. You will just pay the amount that you see in the screen, and you will get exactly the same amount of GPOOL that you see in the reward section. So there is no tax in it. There is no slippage or anything different.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for the clarification.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Hey Knox, I can attest to being here since alpha and seeing the rewards or the gains, I guess you would say, for these NFT sales. Is there any? I guess this is a selfish question, but is there any thought about rewarding people that have been here since alpha, since they still do own an NFT in their account? Maybe if they've been here for all the layers, they get a multiplier of a very minimum amount or something. Just curious if you had any thoughts about anything like that.
Well, we have some plans, but they are not going to happen in a soon future, because we know which accounts and which people have been buying these utility NFTs from the very beginning. We are keeping track of them. And actually, there is a secret message in our website. Some people found it. Well,
all right. Well, now I will have to look through that.
Well,
NFTs?
Well, some people found that message. We had been hiding it since alpha. Some people found it when we started PolyPulsar. Since it is found, I guess I can tell about it at the moment. Well, the secret message is on the main page. If you try to, let me see, how can you reveal it actually? And it has been there since alpha. If you click Control A and check the message just under the TVL, you will see an invisible message being placed there. It has been there since alpha. You can go and check the alpha, and you will see it over there.
Oh
so
my God.
What we have been planning is that we know that like these people who bought the NFTs and stayed with us from the very beginning, they have been believing us and following us in the dead list of times. So these people are tracked in our contracts. We know who they are. And we thought when we finally launched the final layer, we have ideas like houses, like house of X, house of Y, and there will be a number of characters to start with. And then those characters will be dying in battles, for example, or maybe from old age. So like in order for more characters to appear and for the game to continue, you will need to have children. So children will be having the stats of the father and mother, perhaps. So the initial supply of characters, I think, will be given to those people who have been supporting us from the very beginning. So that's the plan at the moment. But like, I don't even know how much time it will take us to launch the final layer. But when that time comes, I will be making those people happy, I think.
Wow, I'm glad I asked that then. Thank you.
Well, if it hasn't been found before, I wouldn't tell. But some people already found it and shared it in the channel, so I think like it is not such a big secret at this point.
I thought yeah, when you said there's a hidden message, I thought there was maybe a hidden message in the hashes of some of the NFTs, like a secondary hash, but I guess not.
No, it wasn't that complicated. It was just characters written invisible. So I cannot offer them something at the moment to like these people who are buying the NFTs from the very beginning, because I don't have something to offer. I mean, I cannot create value out of thin air. Like whatever is there, I'm already sharing everything with you, and we are not really taking much for the team. Like for this reason, I cannot share. But as we create more and more sophisticated products, better games, those games are able to bring more value. They're able to bring more TVL. And as long as we can attract more investors and create more value, it means that we have more to share. And who are we going to share it? We are going to share it with the people who have been supporting us in every layer.
Awesome to hear. One of the other things that I had is with the growth of the channel, the Telegram has been rather hard to keep up with at times. Is there thoughts on using that announcement channel a little more, just for more and more details? I see you posting there every once in a while, but there's still things that I feel like slip through the cracks, as you'd say.
Yeah, I think we should make more use of it, because you can simply miss the details on Telegram chat since you're all like keeping it in silent mode. So what I will do is to talk my moderators, because at the moment it is only me using the announcement chat, and since I'm extremely busy with a lot of duties, I can forget to share them in announcement as well. So I will be talking to my moderators and asking them to like share these pinned messages, whatever is important, in the announcement channel as well.
Yeah, that's perfect, because it's just been hard to keep up with at times, you know, with the influx of new people and all the pin messages and stuff. So it'd be good to see. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, is there any other question? Anything else you want to discuss? All right, I think we can end this voice chat here today. It is already over an hour, and since we are doing this almost daily, if you figure that you forgot to ask something, if you want to discuss something new, I will be available here tomorrow as well, and we can talk. All right, thank you for coming here, sparing your time, asking me questions, being involved in the discussion, and good luck with the NFTs you want to buy, and see you later.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.